You're listening to ArTEEtude, a podcast with artists created and produced by Detlef Schlich, a visual artist and ritual designer, living and loving in West Cork, and best known for his essay about the cause and effect of shamanism, art and digital culture. Working in the field of performance, photography, painting, sound, installations, and film, he will dive and discover with us and a weekly creative guest into the unknown and exciting deep ocean of the creative mind.
This is Detlef Schlich, and today we dive into the exciting and unexpected ocean of the creative mind with David Bickley. Is that right?
No, Bickley.
Bickley.
But that's all right. I'm always called, in Ireland, right? I'm called Bickley, I'm called Brickley, Buckley and Begley. And in fact, on official documents, I'm all three. You know what I mean? I don't bother correcting people anymore. I go, yeah, whatever.
You see, I was wondering because I knew it is Bickley, and I have ever written down here just Buckley. I don't know why, you know.
Because Bickley's not a bit unusual, yeah.
Yeah, actually, David Ian Bickley, isn't it?
Yes. Well, that's only because there's another David Bickley who we kept on getting confused with each other. He's a photographer in New York, and so I just changed the David Ian Bickley just to make it different. Yeah.
All right. Hi, David.
Hi, Det.
It's great to have you here in my show, and it's actually now my second Skype talk.
Right.
I'm so excited because it works well, and I'm getting so used to it with this double ender technology. So I pick up your MP3 or WAV file and stitch it together with my stuff. So I'm able to create a high quality podcast. I'm so happy about that because I think
it's just great to talk to somebody. In this day and age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true as well. So are you cocooning?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. Well, I'm enjoying the isolation, actually. It's a good excuse to get on with stuff that needs finishing, you know, really.
That's true. I mean, that's yeah, sure. So, David, so I would like to start the first part of our three talks with you. Actually, in general, where are you from? I don't know much about you. I mean, I researched a little bit, but so you're probably Irish, I think.
Nope, I'm English.
You're English.
Yeah, well, I do have a distant, on my mother's side, very distant Irish connection and a Welsh connection. And a Cornish connection, so a kind of a pan-international Celt, really. But no, I was born in England. I was born in Dorset. Was I? No, I was born in Cheshire, but I grew up in Dorset. Yeah.
You're born in Cheshire?
Yeah.
Where?
Place called Woodley, so not far from Manchester, really. Yeah. So, but my family background, they're from Derbyshire, really. They were miners, Blue John miners.
All right.
Blue John is a really rare feldspar, and the kind of main seam of it was discovered by one of my ancestors in the 1700s. And they were all miners then. They were lead miners. And so my family were all kind of loads of relations in Castleton in Derbyshire, yeah.
So that's quite interesting. I mean, the more I live here in Ireland, the more I get as well familiar to the UK, to Great Britain as well, you know. So which is quite interesting. So you know, I mean, you don't have a chance in Germany. I mean, you have it somehow, but not on such an intense way like here in Ireland, you know, because. So yeah, no, so you grow up as well more than on the countryside over there.
I did. My parents kept on moving. They kept on moving from the north of England to the south of England, then back to the north and back to the south, which is a bit confusing. And it's also difficult because I mean there is still a north-south divide in England, but it was really strong back in the like 60s and 70s, you know? And so you'd move down south from the north of England, and I'd have an accent like this, "Hello there, lads," and then go, "Oh, you thick northern git, bash," you know. And then
Honestly,
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
You soft northern git, soft southern git, bang. So,
oh God.
So
a lot of fights were involved, or what?
Well, it's just there was always this north-south divide, and I mean the north hated the south, and the south hated the north. And it was very, very strong then, and it's still kind of there. We see it economically now in England. We see it, with not giving resources to the north. Really, it's all very London-centric. So it still exists, really. Yeah. But I grew up. My fondest memories. No, I don't have very fond memories of Derbyshire, but going there with my parents a lot. But my kind of strongest memories are from Dorset, growing up in Dorset, and particularly because my formative years from the age of, I suppose, 14, I lived in Dorset. You know? And Dorset is an incredibly beautiful county. It's Thomas Hardy land, so it's full of thatched cottages and cream teas and "Hello dear, would you like to come inside for a cider?" and stuff like that. And it's I love Dorset. It was really, really pretty and beautiful, bucolic county. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I know actually. So I went once. I mean, sure, London, Glastonbury as well. I mean, I was on.
Well, you're close. Glastonbury, you're close to Dorset because Somerset's next door. But I know Glastonbury very well, and I know Somerset very well. Yeah.
Have you been on the festivals? Sure.
I played at the festival.
Did you?
Yeah. In I don't know. I actually found a poster there online with the name of our band. We were Green Coyote. We played on a very minor stage, but we did. Yeah, I did play at Glastonbury. Yeah.
Green Coyote.
Back in the good days, though.
So then it was in the 70s.
No, God, I'm not that old. No, it's I would have been a child then. No, it was in like about 82, I think.
So when you were born, I mean, I'm 62, so we're probably a little bit the same.
61, yeah. I'm a year older than you.
So all right, yeah, no, okay, yeah, I was guessing that, yeah.
Yeah, so but it was when I say it was the good days of Glastonbury, as my mate always says, the festivals basically stopped being fun when they banned fires, because up until, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago or less. No, I mean, I think 20 years ago, when you went to Glastonbury, you basically had all these little areas where people have a load of tents in a particular area, but they'd have a fire. So that fire would become a focal point. People would sit down, they'd start jamming, they'd have little lamps, a little stage would be created or whatever. And they were the best gigs, were those little minor little round the fire, and people telling stories and doing whatever, doing magic tricks, That was the best crack. And as soon as they stopped the fires, it became very commercialised, you know what I mean? Still pretty mental, though.
I was there. I don't know. I think I was there in the 80s. It was. I think Robert Plant was playing at this time.
All right.
And I don't know the other bands anymore. But it was quite funny because I went in as pizza service together with some Rastafaris. They asked me, "Hey, do you want a ticket?" So I say, "Yes. How much is it?" So he said, "Yeah, €15. No, 15 pound was it at this time." No, it's still pound. I mean, I don't know.
It's still pounds,
it's £15, and you got this rest thing, So they put me a thing up, gave me five pizza boxes, card boxes, and I was going in with them. So that was the ticket,
nice.
I mean, it was still, I think, £150 or for a day, or for 2 days, £200, something like that.
Great fun. I had so much fun at Glastonbury and other festivals too. And I remember I'd come back from a festival and say, "Oh God, did you see so-and-so at the festival?" Some famous musician. And I'd say, "What, they have music there too?" You know what I mean? I don't think I went to see a single band. You know? I just see having such crack. It was brilliant. I love it.
This is what they have on So how many bands did you join?
Oh, loads of bands I've been in. So that was just a band when I was at college. It was a guy called Christian Lunch, not his real name. Christian Ingalls is his real name. He was in, what was he in? The Dead Kennedys? He was associated with the Dead Kennedys in some way. He was actually he's a graphic novelist, yeah?
Yeah.
And his brother Marty Ingalls, who's still around, lives in Paris. He formed this band, yeah. And I was asked to be in it, you know, as people did in those days. Or if you had a synthesizer, you see, you could get into any band in those days because they were so expensive, analog synths. And they were so difficult to use. You know? So if you had one and could use it, you were like, oh, you could be in my band. Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Flock of Seagulls probably started on a way like this with the musicians, isn't it? I mean,
probably, yeah.
They use a lot of synthi sounds, for instance, and the 80s were quite full with that. Yeah? I think the 80s.
They were horrible synthesizer sounds in the 80s, really. But that's when I got into synths in the 70s, yeah. So that's when I first got into synths, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So kind of fairly long in the tooth when it comes to synthesizers. But anyway, so you want to talk a bit more about my growing up and stuff. So yeah, I grew up in Dorset. And it was really when I moved to we lived in towns, but when we moved to the countryside in Dorset, that's what really switched me onto art. So it was like suddenly living in the middle of the countryside, and you know, all the beautiful twisted oak trees and moonlit nights and stuff like that. I just got really into it and started painting a lot of paintings. And at this time I was also making music, and I got my first synthesizer, so I started to kind of make music, and that was really inspired by A Tangerine Dream.
All right.
I was inspired, and I got into that in the kind of the mid-70s when Tangerine Dream, great German band, when I was watching a program called Sutherland's Law, and which was like a cop on the Outer Hebrides in Scotland. And he had to go up to this girl's house because her parents were away and she was suspected of taking drugs. And he called up to the house, and the windows of the house were open, and this music was coming out of these windows, and it was all, and I just went, what on earth is that coming out of the TV set? Oh my God. And I asked everybody at school, nobody knew what it was at all. And one guy did, he said that. He said, eh?
N. Clark?
N. Clark?
Was it N. Clark?
No, it was Tangerine Dream.
That was, okay.
And when I asked everybody at school, nobody knew what it was. And this one kid said, oh, that's a band called Tangerine Dream. I'll do a cassette copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
And you listen to it.
So that's why I got this cassette of, I think it was Rubicon, or it was Phaedra. I think it was Phaedra. And I was just like, oh my God, this is incredible. I've got to make this music.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up eventually making that music, which was quite weird. Recently, I know this should be in your later podcast, but about 3-4 years ago, I started a PhD in UCC.
Yeah.
In digital arts, and one of our projects was to do a remediation project. Yeah. So I wondered what that was, remediation, but basically what it means is taking something from one form and making it into another form, into another media. So remediating it, if you like, remediation. So what I did, I took the album Rubicon, which is my favorite Tangerine Dream album, and I broke it down into a set of rules. So I didn't actually examine the music per se as the notes or the tones or anything, but I just said, well, the music is this long. This stuff kind of happens here at the beginning. It's very ambient. Rhythms start here. They get more complex here. I timed it. Yeah. And then there were, so many people in the band. They were using these instruments, and they got together over this period of time. And so basically I did exactly that. I got those people, I got a number of people together. I got exactly the same instruments, pretty much. Well, at least close as I could get. And we did it all analog in a studio in Cornwall, and made an album called Belerion, which sounds. I mean, the gas thing is you listen to it, and I think there's a bit of it on my Instagram account. We'll say some links to it somewhere. And Valerian,
there are links. I mean, I can tell you already, so that David has an Instagram account, and he has a link tree over there. So, dear listeners, if you want to listen to the stuff, you're probably able to get through this link tree to David's projects. I'm gonna put it as well into the description.
Sure. It's all on Spotify anyway, so just put it Valerian in Spotify. I think it's the only thing that will show up.
What's your Instagram account? It's David.
David_Ian _Bickley.
But yeah, so David_Ian_Bickley, but you guys get it as well in the description, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, so anyway, that was my Tangerine Dream thing, and that really turned me on, and so I got into electronic music, and then what really happened was when I was at school, so I was like about 17 in secondary school, and I was in this art class. There was just me and 12 girls in this art class. Yeah, heaven. And you know what I mean? Great fun. But
where was that?
That was in Dorset, in Wimborne. And
how old have you been there at this stage?
I was only there for my sixth form, so it was like 2 years, from the age of like 17
to 19
and 18, really. But what happened was there was a thing came on TV, so it's BBC South, was our local BBC. And they came on and said, "Is there any young filmmakers out there want to make any films? Send in a script, and we'll see if we're going to make it. We're going to make 5 films, and we're going to give you full funding and all this." And so I went, "Oh, I'd love to do that," because I'd been involved in a little bit of filmmaking, but not a lot, nothing serious. And so I got my brother, was a great writer. He said, "I'll write you a script." He wrote this really good story really quickly.
Okay.
And I said, "Oh no, look, it's past the time for it to be sent in." And it was like last week, but never. I'll still send it in. So I sent it in anyway, not expecting anything to come back. So I remember sitting in the art class, and the school secretary came in, and she said, "Is David Bickley in here?" I went, "Oh my God, what have I done? I'm in trouble." She said, "The BBC are on the phone for you." And then all these 12 girls went, "Oh." So anyway, they decided to do an extra one because the script was so good.
I mean, that is a great encouragement.
Well, not me, it was my brother's script. So I directed it basically, and they gave us. We shot it on 16mm, and we shot it in the woods in Dorset. This spooky film, which I think is online somewhere.
I mean,
and
that's
got
great.
me into a film.
That's actually an encouragement. What every artist needs, isn't it? I mean, especially in an age from 18, 19, 20, so that gives you so much self-esteem that you really start somehow to continue with it. You start to believe in yourself. I mean, I think. Well,
that's exactly true. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, there's only 5 people got that self-esteem, which is, you know what I mean? It's just,
No, I mean, I know for myself. I mean, I started to get my self-esteem quite late in my mid-20s. And normally, if you're really, I mean, if your parents not supporting you so much in this intellectual direction, like my parents, they didn't have a clue. I mean, actually, my father had, because he was dolly driver at the WDR. But he was not interested in it to support me somehow with that. I don't know why, So it took me 10 years to build myself up and to understand that I am actually creative.
Yes.
So,
well, parents are really important in that. And I have a young fella now. All my kids are kind of fairly creative. My son is a filmmaker, and he's done very well, and a musician. But my younger son, who's only 10, he's very creative, and I just notice now, well, being the age I am, being the age he is, that to give him as much encouragement as possible, and try and guide him in the right way, but give him the freedom to express himself. But I'd happy if any of my kids, never have a proper job and are all artists, because quite frankly, we need serious artists on this planet to correct the balance.
Oh yes. That's for that we are there. We are artists, keeping the balance going, isn't it?
So that was it, really. And the filmmaking, because I'd made this film, I was able to get into art college very easily because I had a 16 mil broadcast film, you know. So
sure.
And then I went to art college for 4 years. I did a foundation, then did a degree in film, and went to London.
Not in visual art, in filmmaking.
No, I should have done visual art really, but I could have still made films in visual art, and it would have been better.
Sure.
But no, the film I did then for my degree, my kind of final film, won the Sony Film Festival first prize. I mean, the only reason I'm saying that is because it was such a triumph in the sense that I was really disencouraged by my tutors from making the kind of film I wanted to make. Because I wanted to make very arty films, and they were all very political. It was all very political in the early 80s. You need to make agitprop kind of, political movies. And I was like, no, I'm making this spacey film about alchemy. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And I did. And it won this prestigious prize, which was great. Yeah? So
inspired by Tangerine Dream as well, somehow.
Oh, well, the music's very like Tangerine Dream that's in it. We did it all ourselves, yeah.
That sounds
no, very much inspired by Tangerine Dream. Yeah. So then I moved to London, and I ran a studio. A friend of mine who was had been in a pop band, and then he inherited some money, and he set up a studio, and we ended up doing music for films. So we were doing like soundtracks for movies and ads, and a lot of corporate stuff.
It was late 80s, probably, no?
It was the mid 80s, I think. Right. And then I got back into film again, quite accidentally. I saw another call out from the Landscape Channel, and they were basically selling new age music and classical music by putting landscape images together with it. And it was on Channel 4, late night, and Sky, I think. And it became really popular because all the ravers were coming back from the clubs, switching it on at like 7 in.the morning and watching all these like, ambient videos, basically. It's before ambient video, really. And so I went off. I remember we were just on a corporate job for this charity, and we got one of the guys to steal us some 16 mil film from their fridge. Yeah. We went and borrowed a camera on spec that we were trying it out. And me and this guy, Matt Lipsey, who's now quite a well-known director, very well-known director, we went off and shot this landscape film in Norfolk, put it together with some music by Brian Eno, with his permission, and showed it to the Landscape Channel, and they commissioned us to do, I think, 5 films. Yeah. And then on the strength of that, these landscape films, I got asked to direct the landscape footage in a film shot in Lanzarote for Brian Eno's company.
Oh, that's great.
Opal. So I shot this film, and then they decided that I could be the co-director on the whole film. So I was that, and on the strength of that, I got a gig with the same distribution company to do 3 landscape films: one shot in Ireland, one in Morocco, and one in Lapland. Yeah. And that basically gave me the money to buy an edit suite, which allowed me to move to Ireland and have a business. So there you go. That's the whole potted history.
All right. You know what? I would say, because it's so interesting, shall we continue with that in a second part? Because I think projects and you're growing up, it's intermingling somehow.
Yeah, well, I suppose it is. Yeah.
But it's great because we already have now our first one over than 20 minutes gone, 25 minutes, and it goes
waffling.
No, it's great. Don't worry about that. I mean, that's a great thing with podcasts, So we are free in that. So there's no production company behind me who says that if you have to stick to this or that.
Unfortunately, we'll be drinking champagne out of our little micro fridge in the corner if there was.
Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna do that another time.
Good. Yeah, I hope so. I'm looking forward to that a lot. All right, we'll cut there and start again. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say thank you very much for being guest in my show, my podcast. It was very interesting, and dear listeners, tune in to the second part as well if you like it, and see you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Steve. Good to meet
Bye.
you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.